technology helped firefighters tackle this fire here in Ramona quickly.
The death toll from the Maui fires continues to climb. An update coming up. Plus, hear from a San Diegan who just got back from the island.
The home of the missing woman, Maya Miliete, set to be sold, but now there are questions around how her husband plans to use some of the money.
Bridging the gap between indoor and outdoor neighbors, we'll introduce you to Mr. Michael Garvey.
CBS 8 News, live at 6, starts right now. The Bunny Fire in Ramona is closer to being fully contained. Fire officials say they used new technology to get a handle on the flames before it all got worse. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan. Marcella Lee is off tonight.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. All across the state, firefighters are using AI technology to find and attack wildfires before they explode into major disasters. CBS 8's Elizabeth Sanchez is in Ramona right now, where the fire's 30% contained tonight. She joins us live. Elizabeth.
So we just got an update, Carlo and Jesse. We just found out that by 7 p.m. they expect to have this fire 65% contained. We also just learned that a firefighter was injured. He has burns to his hands, but he is expected to be okay. You know, no structures were burned in this fire in Ramona, and firefighters are crediting all the resources and technology for the success. Wind and dry brush can quickly cause flames to spread. That's why firefighters throughout the state are on a mission to keep fires 10 acres or less. When Wednesday's Bunny Fire in Ramona broke out, the call from dispatch was the fire was moving at a critical rate of speed and multiple agencies needed to tackle it.
We knew it was hot and windy, and so we're going to send a lot of equipment. The incident commander then decided that they needed some more, so they ordered some more.
Not only did CAL FIRE come on scene, but also U.S. Forestry from Colorado, National Guard hand crews, inmates, as well as San Diego City and crews throughout the county worked to contain the flames. In all, 184 acres burned.
There's some ashes falling in our backyard and everything. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, we're pleased. We had zero structure damage. We did have quite a few structures threatened off of Little Klondike and Chuck Wagon.
Technology is also helping firefighters.
We did have an AI success story.
On Sunday, artificial intelligence alerted them of a fire in the Cleveland National Forest in Mount Laguna.
The camera was alerted to because it checks for abnormalities in the camera feed, and it caught that fire before it started to get big.
The cameras and AI alerts are part of a $20 million project between CAL FIRE and UCSD.
In California, there's cameras all the way up even into Oregon and Washington and Idaho.
The AI alert gave fire crews the upper hand.
We dispatched a response up there and kept the fire to 1/10 of an acre, and that was all before the first 911 call.
These efforts are reassuring for residents, but firefighters and many others still remember the Cedar Fire and Witch Creek Fire from the past.
There's always that chance that the fire might escape. That's why we have fire crews out here.
And firefighters say that let this serve as a reminder that people should have defensible space around their homes and also have a plan just in case they have to evacuate, make sure they know where their medications are. Elizabeth Sanchez, CBS 8.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, it is muggy in San Diego. When I left Florida, I did not think I was going to encounter this again.
And it's muggy for San Diego.
Yes,
that too. Terms.
That too.
Carlene Chavis, another Florida refugee with us, who knows real humidity when she feels this in this, ain't it?
You know, I complained back then because my hair was a lot straighter. Now that it's poofy, it needs it, and I don't mind it.
You don't mind it much.
The bigger the hair, it's always great. Yeah, we got big hair out there, don't care. Talking about a lot of high humidity for us, and that's tropical moisture from what's left over from Tropical Storm Eugene. So most of our values throughout the day when it comes to relative humidity has been above 50%. Still going strong, and that's going to be the case even through tomorrow. You also have drier conditions, no surprise, and that's for the desert at 31% relative humidity. There are the low clouds as well as some high clouds out there. That's the view looking out from Otay Mountain. We still have that muggy feeling in the air. The only time I really don't like is at night when you're trying to go to sleep. Not very comfortable. So you had some rainfall earlier today. It was only measurable for one particular spot, and that was over a 12-hour period this morning. That was for San Onofre with more than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. Other than that, it's just that sticky feeling that's going to be lingering as we continue to watch that moisture associated with Eugene exit out. It's bringing scattered showers and even some downpours near Santa Barbara and Bakersfield, and it's lifting towards the north, and no major concern for us. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast if you do want it hotter and drier coming up in your 8-day. Carlo, Jesse.
Thanks, Carlene. The death toll in Maui has climbed to at least 53, and thousands more have been forced to evacuate as wildfires continue to burn across the island.
Earlier today, President Biden issued a national disaster declaration for what's now one of the deadliest disasters in Hawaii's history. As CBS 8's Shannon Handy reports, the majority of that devastation has been seen in Lahaina.
Cell phone video captured from a Maui neighborhood shows both the fear and devastation brought on by wildfires fueled by hurricane-force winds that have now killed at least 36 people.
Somebody's down right here. Somebody's down.
This is what the tourist town of Lahaina, located on the island's western shore, once looked like.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
Here it is today. Businesses and hotels destroyed. The famous banyan tree, believed to be the oldest in the U.S., burned but still standing. Lahaina is where people jumped into the harbor to escape the fast-moving flames. One local reporter recovering the bodies of several victims.
Still get dead bodies in the water floating and on the seawall. They've been sitting there since last night.
We don't have any wildfires here in San Diego down by the water, you know. It was just out of the blue. Nobody expected it.
Charlie Rosecrans just flew back to San Diego from Maui this morning. He grew up in Hawaii and was there visiting family.
We could see the fires from where we were. We could see the smoke. And we just thought it was a fire. I wasn't watching the news. And then, you know, when I heard there was some fire in Lahaina, I looked at my phone the next morning. My jaw just hit the floor.
Rosecrans experienced some delays but feels lucky to have made it home safely. So far, 11,000 travelers have been evacuated from the island. Some were forced to sleep in the airport due to flight cancellations. Meanwhile, I spoke with Jessica Cartalia, an anchor at the CBS station in Philadelphia, as well as a San Diego native. She and her family are in Maui right now and says road closures have forced them to stay closer to their hotel.
Where we are, it's a beautiful beach day, but you can certainly smell the smoke coming from Lahaina and further up. It's still unclear how many people have lost their homes. We spoke with a couple yesterday who was parked up in Lahaina and couldn't get to their rental car, and by the time they got there, it was totally burned. Just a lot of fallout from this fire. Our hearts just really go out to everybody who's affected.
Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Thank you, Shannon. Governor Gavin Newsom says California stands with the people of Maui and all Hawaiians. He says he's sending resources to help with response to the fires. That includes 11 urban search and rescue personnel to help with the search for survivors.
And for all our wildfire coverage, you can follow along at CBS8.com or follow us on our social media pages.
Firefighters in Riverside County are honoring two of their fallen. Sunday night, 46-year-old CAL FIRE Assistant Chief Josh Bischoff and 44-year-old CAL FIRE Captain Tim Rodriguez were killed in a helicopter collision in Cabazon while attacking a brush fire in the area. CAL FIRE and other agencies held a procession today in Paris. This is it. They were escorting the bodies of Bischoff and Rodriguez to Menifee, where they will be laid to rest. Helicopter pilot Tony Sousa also died in the collision. He's being honored at a later date.
Tonight, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has more than a dozen people in custody after they were detained on board a boat just off the coast of Solana Beach. The Sheriff's Department says just before 11 this morning, they got reports of a capsized boat about 150 to 300 yards off the shore near Fletcher Cove. They also tell us the Coast Guard says the boat initially tried to land near Carlsbad, but instead kept making its way south. About 100 yards offshore, the boat began to have issues, and a witness tells us what they saw.
After a couple of minutes, about 11 or 12 people appeared on the deck of the boat, and then lifeguards sent out about 4 or 5 paddle boats and a jet ski. They brought one person in because he jumped off the boat, and so they brought him to shore, checked him out, and then a little bit later, the Border Patrol agents that were here on the beach in handcuffs.
The Coast Guard found 13 other individuals on board. It's not clear where that boat came from.
San Diego police are investigating a homicide in East Village where they say a 28-year-old man was stabbed to death at his apartment on 14th Street last night. They say they detained one person during the investigation, but still unclear if they believe the man was a suspect. They detained him at a nearby apartment after his girlfriend said he was acting aggressively. The man had wounds they say were consistent with, quote, aggressive behavior. He was taken to the hospital for treatment.
A 29-year-old man is in custody tonight accused of hitting and killing someone while driving under the influence. CHP says just before 9 last night on the 5, just north of the 78, Edwin Vincent Hoffman veered onto the shoulder and slammed into a car that was parked along the freeway. A woman in the passenger seat died. Four others in the car were taken to the hospital. CHP says Hoffman then drove off, got into another crash, this time with a big rig. And after that, officers say he got out of his car and ran away. But they found him a short time later.
A probate judge has approved the sale of Maya Milliete's home in Chula Vista 2.5 years after the mother of 3 went missing. The
$1.2 million home will now be sold on the open market. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, it still remains to be seen whether her husband, Larry Milliete, will be allowed to use some of the proceeds to fund his defense against murder charges.
Ms. May T. Milliete is a missing person whose whereabouts are unknown since January 2021. Hence, a conservatorship is appropriate.
A conservator had to be appointed to represent the estate of Maya Milliete before her house could be sold. The 5-bedroom, $1.2 million home in Chula Vista is owned by both Maya, who is missing and presumed dead, and her husband, who is charged with her murder.
All funds from the proceeds of the sale of the residence are to be placed in a blocked account until it can be determined which part belongs to Ms. Milliete and which part belongs to Mr. Milliete.
The mortgage on the house has not been paid for more than a year, and the husband is running out of money to pay his defense attorney. The home has about $600,000 in equity, which, according to Maya's court-appointed attorney, should be put into a blocked account for the benefit of Maya's children. Larry wants his portion of the money to go to his defense attorney's account. The couple's 3 children plan to move out of the house and continue to live in the same area with Larry's parents.
It's our understanding that there is already a replacement residence available that they would be able to move into.
Larry Milliete's attorney also wanted the house to be sold to an unnamed, prearranged buyer, but the judge ordered the home will be listed on the open market.
It will be going on the MLS, and the listing will be promoted by a licensed real estate agent.
Presumably the house will be sold by December, when the judge has set a hearing to decide how to divide up the money between Larry's side of the family and Maya's side of the family. In Chula Vista, David Goffredson, CBS 8.
Thanks, David. Larry Milliete will be back in court for a readiness conference on October 10th. His murder trial is set to begin January 16th. Still ahead, we could see more hurricanes than usual in the Atlantic this year.
And writers and studios are heading back to the bargaining table soon after more than 100 days of striking.
Plus, a homeless man known for keeping his corner of Ocean Beach clean is getting a new home tonight.